everybody. Welcome to this episode of Talking Heartland. We are diving into the show Heartland, and this is our third episode. We are covering season 1, episodes 5, 6, and 7. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and I am joined by Amy's here.
Hey guys.
And Michelle's here.
Hey everyone.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Woohoo!
Doing good.
Hanging in there, right?
Yep.
Good. All right. Well, let's dive in. We got 3 episodes to cover. We love your thoughts on these episodes if you're listening. And if you have any ideas for the podcast of what we could do to make it even better, we're just starting. So please share with us your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. And we're going to start with the best laid plans.
Which was actually written by Heather Conkey, who you got to interview last year.
That's
right.
This
episode was written by her.
Yeah. So this is really an interesting episode. Basically, the main story is that Lou decides to make a video to promote Heartland, and this is something that it'll just be in their like local town cable kind of thing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. Like it was their county, I guess, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And she also is dealing with the fact that she is dealing with her job, and she gets fired from her job, and so now she has to figure out what she's going to do. What was your overall thoughts, Amy, on this episode?
So this is one of my fun ones that I think of, because I just think of like them being all kooky and all the jokes and stuff. This is like a fun, it's kind of more like a filler episode. I feel like there's not as much story that's like going into the whole season, but there's a lot of fun jokes, and you get to see the characters kind of play off each other, which I think is fun. I enjoy this one a lot. It's one of the ones I think of as like them being funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Michelle? What did you think of it?
Yeah, I love this episode. Like I said in the previous episodes, I've only watched up to season 3, so this felt like, so I don't know how the show is going to evolve down the line, but for me this was the start of like Fun Heartland. This was the start of like them being comfortable around each other, to joke, to banter, to kind of mine a lot of humour and things like that. So this was definitely the start of kind of the Fun Heartland that I was sort of binge watching sort of last year at some point. Yeah.
You're in for a wild ride, Michelle.
Oh God.
No pun intended. Well, actually, pun completely intended.
Yeah, that's right. It starts out they watch the Briar Ridge ad, and it's very slick, and we get the idea that there's this real rivalry going on between Heartland and Briar Ridge.
Yeah, and you see Ty sitting there with the mean girls, and Soraya and Amy at the bar. Why is Ty hanging out with them? Come on.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So and because Ty is over at Briar Ridge, and so Jack goes to visit him and tells him that that he's going to have to change his probation over there, and probation must be a little bit different in Canada, because that's not how it works here.
I think it might be different too, because he's still a minor.
Oh.
So because he's 17.
17.
Yeah. So
because here you check in with you have to check in with your probation officer. They don't take responsibility over you.
Well, I think he's also considered it's different in Canada, but like a ward of the state, because he doesn't really have that comes in later, but like a parent, he doesn't have close parental relationships. So maybe it's a combination of both of those.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure that we'll find out in later episodes how did Amy's mom find Ty?
Mm-hmm.
How did that all happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also interesting when you find out more about how, because Scott used to live in the barn too, how Amy's mom found Scott as well in the past.
I didn't even think of that.
That's interesting also. Yeah.
So you have Soraya, is that right? Is how you say it? Soraya?
I think it's Soraya.
Soraya. Okay,
Yeah.
Soraya and Ben are doing some flirting going on.
Recipe for disaster.
It's more on Soraya's part than Ben's,
Yeah.
but I think Ben just likes the attention, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know. What do we think of Ben? Do we like Ben, or are we? Because Mallory hates Ben. She does not like him at all.
I agree with Mallory.
What do you think, Rochelle?
I don't like Ben, but I like that he was kind of softened in this episode. He was sort of you saw a bit of lightness in him, because to take it any further than he was kind of the previous week when we talked about him, I honestly don't know if I could actually watch him, because he was really brutal last week, but I actually really liked him and Mallory together this episode. I thought they were really funny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was given a bit of comic relief, so he's a little bit less of like rude this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The whole thing with the manure pile was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was funny. And they're all painting the barn and trying to, like, Mallory was funny, I think. That, just trying to make Lou happy. That was funny. And so Amy gets a wild horse from Scott, and that she's dealing with. And do they have sort of it seems like most episodes there's a new horse of some kind.
Sometimes it'll be like a horse for like a couple episodes, but normally, unless it's one of their horses, because their horses come in all the time, but like there's normally like a new horse she's working with, or she's working at some sort of horse event thing. I don't know.
I thought that Jerry was real. The whole thing with Jerry and it's a Marnie. Yeah. Jerry and Marnie. I thought that whole thing was kind of funny. That him being Jerry is the wedding videographer, and so Lou doesn't want to use him at first, but then decides to use him, and like the whole time that he's filming the video, he just keeps referring to everything in terms of weddings. Like, this is where that everybody gets nervous before the big day.
That's pretty funny.
Everybody gets cold feet.
And this is kind of like the beginning episode of Lou kind of taking advantage of Marnie too. This is kind of like the source episode for that, but so it's just to like rewatch it again and know what happens later on. I like am picking at it and I'm like, oh, Lou's actually not really that good of a friend to Marnie. But
that's interesting.
I think Lou is just really kind of have like foot in, foot out kind of. She's like, they do say that she's kind of torn, but it is like she's just trying to get Heartland set up so she can get back to her real life. She's not really seeing this as where she's at right now.
I mean, Lou's very your archetypal character who's left the country for the city, and that we've seen a lot, but it's interesting. Now she's lost her job. What is she gonna do? And so she manages to convince Jack to be the MC for the video, and I did really think it was cute when Jack practicing his
Mhm.
like
That's so funny.
MC in the car.
Yeah.
That made me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like
I love the
his
way they
voice,
kinda cut it. Yeah.
his voice, he plays it so well. And it's like when you know like the behind the scenes, because he actually, like, that actor auditioned to play the role of the dad originally, because he's a lot younger than he appears in the show. Like he's not actually a grandpa age when this show started. But
Mhm.
like it's just the
Right.
way his voice was and stuff, so that's why they cast him in that role. And like you could really tell that in this episode. Just like his, I don't know, it's like homey. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it was really funny. It's just like him being, it was sweet. It was
Mhm.
there's an innocent side to him and to that moment, I thought. And there so Jack gives Val the probation papers for Ty, and he does it when the magazine lady is there, and she gets super offended by this, and she's very upset, and the idea that she would hire somebody that's on probation, and I'm not sure why that's so offensive to
Yeah.
Val. I mean, it's
I
perfectly
mean, that's
the
like,
law,
it's a
and
good
these,
thing. I don't see why she couldn't just spin
Mhm.
that into a good thing.
yeah, like
Yeah.
look at what we're doing. We're helping people here, and
Yep.
Mhm. I think the thing is, though, we still don't know why he's on probation technically, and he is in a position where there's
Yeah.
a lot of, you know, like expensive things. That makes sense. Like she said, like I don't know what he's gonna do, steal a horse and sell it on the black market or something. Like he's got a motorcycle, but whatever.
yeah, yeah, and you're right, Michelle, that she could spin it so that it would actually with the magazine lady, that it would actually look good for
Yep.
Briar Ridge.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
we're helping people, and yeah, I mean, I guess he technically could, I guess, steal a horse, I guess, but he
Mhm.
doesn't really even know how to ride horses very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole comment about the suitcase thing, I'll be checking your suitcase on the way out. Like, what was he gonna steal?
Right.
Like,
Seriously.
Yeah, there's no like jewels or anything like that. What is he gonna take?
I don't
Uh,
know.
yeah, so that seemed a little extreme to me.
Mhm.
But he gets fired, and I did love all of the filming of this video. It was really funny,
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
especially Scott being so nervous, he was like sweating.
It was the best.
That was really funny. But you just think that, especially with Lou knowing that this horse that they had was a wild horse, you think that she
Mhm.
wouldn't be so stupid as far as making,
That
you
was
know,
crazy.
she can be a frustrating character sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is
And she knows
wrong?
what they do. She knows that it's troubled horses. Why would you walk into a pen, especially one that's kind of as distressed as that one? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
madness.
So what did you
Mhm.
think about this bonfire that they have? That is Ashley's big party.
Okay, first off, I have a question. Is the Canadian drinking age 18? It's not 21, I'm assuming.
I have no idea.
I
I
think
should know
so.
that.
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah, I'd assume
Yeah.
so.
So like I'm assuming, well, because they had alcohol, and I'm like, okay, but Amy and Ashley are 15, Ty is 17. I'm like, who's? But I guess there's someone 18 around to get them alcohol.
It's
But like,
19,
oh,
is
it's 19.
Google.
Okay.
18 if in Quebec.
I don't think they're in Quebec. They're in.
Yeah, according to
Alberta.
it says here right now it is 18 for Alberta.
Oh, they're in Alberta, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
If
yeah.
you're listening, fill us in. Let us know. We don't know. But yeah, I mean the big bonfire and the whole confrontation, I felt like Ty kind of gave in pretty easy to Ashley.
Definitely.
You know, it's like she I mean, why on earth she wouldn't tell her mom about this? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, it's going to come out, so why wouldn't you tell? And you know, I don't know.
Maybe maybe she knew the reaction and she kind of wants to kind of hold on to Ty. I don't know, but then she's just met Ty. I don't know. Like, she's so frustrating at this point because obviously I know a little bit, and we all know like that Cindy's so talented, and we've kind of saw her even just this year in her movies. Like, she's got such an amazing energy about her, and this character is just so diabolical at this point. She's almost a caricature, and yeah, I just can't wait till we get to a point where we actually see the depth and a lot of just Cindy's abilities come through.
Well, and it just seems so stupid. I mean, but she is a high schooler, so what are you gonna do, I guess? But come on.
She kind of treats Ty like a shiny new toy. That's about it. Like,
yeah. It's just like, if you want Ty to be there, then you need to have him be, like, this is gonna come up with probation. Like, don't be stupid. But he lets her off pretty easy, I think. And then Scott and Lou go out and are doing karaoke. And so I have to ask, do either of you have a go-to karaoke song?
No, I would actually die if I get took to a karaoke bar. I would literally just die on the spot. It's not my thing whatsoever. It's hard enough to get me into a bar, let alone up on a stage singing. No chance.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep well, pre-pandemic, I kept asking my friends. I wanted to go to karaoke. I'm like, I just want to try it. I've never done it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, gotta go.
Yeah, and no, all my friends refused to go with me, so I still don't know. Maybe I'm a karaoke pro. Maybe I'm not. I don't know yet.
Well, the only time that I've been to that kind of karaoke is when I've gone on a cruise, because I'm the worst dancer there is. Like, I'm so bad. And so if given the choice of, do I go dancing or do I go to karaoke, I'm going to karaoke all the time. So I've when I've been on a cruise, I've done the karaoke, and my go-to song is Wide Open Spaces from the Dixie Chicks.
Yes.
It's like right in my range, so I know I can sing it. Like, it's not too hard, and I know I can pull it off. It's a good one. So that's, or if I'm playing what's it in Rock Band, or one of those games. That if they have Wide Open Spaces, Dixie Chicks, that's my go-to.
I do have the high score, at least on my version of the I have the High School Musical Sing It game, and I have the high score in my family. So that's something I'm proud of.
So I do think that Jerry, him editing the video without getting it to Lou seems surprising, given his he seemed like kind of a fastidious type of character, sort of an eager to please type of character. So I was surprised that he would do that without talking to her, and also was surprised that the video was so like I would think he would have like edited it even more, given he's a wedding videographer, and he includes kind of Lou looking sort of silly. And I think that she was probably kind of in the right to be irritated by that. I mean, she did pay him to do this, and so it's not a ridiculous request that she would be granted, final edit of the video, especially with the advertisement.
Did she pay him, or was this a friendship pro bono kind of thing? Because
I assume she paid him.
Did she? I don't know, because if she didn't, I could understand where he would be a little bit frustrated after the way he was treated.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I just assumed that she paid him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that, Michelle?
I mean, either way, it's a pretty big swing on his part. Like, it could only have gone one or two ways, bad or good. And thankfully it kind of went well. But yeah, I agree. It, it's surprising that they got so many customers from looking kind of, especially Lou, kind of looking ridiculous. But I mean, hey, it worked. It worked, so can't really complain. And if she did get it for free, then she can't complain.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a difference to me. But yeah, Scott and Lou get pretty chummy there on their karaoke date, and they even get pretty close to a kiss.
That was
But
kind of
she has a
frustrating.
boyfriend.
He has a boyfriend, seriously. We see this in every Hallmark movie. It's like, what's going on?
Well, I mean, he got that the liquid encouragement there,
True.
and then it's been a little while, and I do think Scott is extremely cute. Like he's just like
I
in a
love Scott.
in a very like ordinary person kind of cute way, you know, like
funny. I've seen him kind of more recently in a different show. I know some of them film like multiple shows and things like that, but he's on like this FBI show, and I'm so thrown by seeing him as like this tough FBI agent, and then gone back to just like salt of the earth, sweet
right.
Scott.
Yeah,
Like,
he's so cute.
yeah, and he's not good at hiding his feelings. That's what kind of frustrated me. And Lou knows him. They've had a previous relationship. She should be able to kind of read that he's kind of just looking at her with love hearts in his eyes at this point. It's so obvious.
Right. Yeah. And so Lou, she gets fired, and but she is, you know, focusing on this video, and then it ends up being a big hit. People love the video.
Yeah.
People like the freshness and the rawness, and then Amy names the stubborn wild horse, names her Lou, which was funny. She's stubborn as a mule and has 0 people skills.
I think it's so funny. And it kind of like, also the ad kind of shows a little bit difference between Lou and Amy's personality, because Amy comes home upset and crying, and she sees the ad, and like that cheers her up so much. And Lou, on the other hand, it causes her to cry. So
yeah. How big of an age difference is there between Lou and Amy?
it's 9 or 10 years, because I believe Amy is 15 and Lou's 24 right now, or 25. So it's 9 or 10 years that they're apart, because because Lou was 15 when their dad left. Yeah, so that's 10 years then. Lou was 15 when their dad left, and Amy was 5. So yeah.
Okay, good. And then at the end, Ty decides to stay. And, yeah. So
Okay.
all right. So then we have one trick pony is the next episode, and in this one we get the arrival of Carl.
Oh gosh.
And what did you think of boyfriend Carl, Michelle?
I mean, he's just the stereotypical bad man of business, isn't he?
Right.
Even though he was a bit more comical than that, though. I mean, he was absolutely ridiculous. And I don't remember him being this ridiculous the first time I watched it. But yeah, I mean, especially like I've said, I love Scott. When you compare this guy to Scott, it's like no competition. So I mean, I don't doubt that he loves Lou, but I just think he's got different priorities, especially at this point in his life. He's so business focused. He's kind of he's kind of got tunnel vision as far as Lou and as far as his career is concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is very stereotypical of this type of role, archetypal, I guess you'd say, of this type of role, of the bad man of business coming in, and yeah, I mean, I did like him, the fact that he I did like the whole thing with him and the horse. and it's just like every time he would get bucked off, you're like, okay, good. This is good.
Yeah. And then he was like, oh, I'm gonna get back on because that's what happens when you fall off a horse. And then he got bucked off again, and I was just like, oh. Also, you could tell because the way he was speaking, like besides that one time he went to camp or whatever,
Right.
his only interactions with horses or like knowing about horses was in old Western shows because of the way he was talking to this horse.
Well, and that was
that way.
It was perfect because that was this horse was a trick horse, and you're just like, just listen to these people. They might actually know what they're talking about. They run a ranch, like you might not know everything about everything, like.
And that's one of my favorite scenes I think of this season though, is when he says yeehaw, I think, and it starts just like going crazy, and Amy's look on her face is just like, who would have knew? Like,
yeah.
It's just priceless.
Like, maybe you don't know everything about everything, like these people run this they do this for their job. And
like Amy, who's been around horses her entire life and her mom did this for a career, she still doesn't really know that much about this horse, so like you would think he'd listen to her a little bit, but no.
Yeah, I also thought it was funny how Carl is just like so clueless about the fact he's on this ranch, and he's like that he's upset about getting the internet, that he's like, there's no internet connectivity. I'm like,
what do you expect? It's 2007 on a ranch.
Yeah. Exactly. They don't have high speed here.
Yeah.
And also we get the woes of Lou making a birthday cake and for Jack, and it's like, it's a cake mix. I mean, come on. You literally it's like 3 steps in a cake mix. You got,
I know,
the mix, water, and oil. I think that, and eggs. So there's 4 steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that hard. I mean, I feel like
for a smart woman, I mean, come on.
I feel like a kindergartner
could do it.
Make a cake mix.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
I found that so funny. And then the whole thing about everyone loved my mom's frosting, and Scott's like, yeah, it was out of a can.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, she had three backups just in case. I mean, at this point, if you can't make a cake mix, you should just buy a cake. I mean, come on.
Happy and buy a cake.
Support your local bakery.
And I know Amy was like, well, I'll make the cake. So like, I'm assuming Amy knows how to cook.
So yeah, is Jack doing most of the cooking at this point? Is that what we understand?
Well, no, Lou's making dinner and everything now. Like, since she's been home, she's been cooking every night.
Has she?
For them. Yeah.
It's just baking a cake seems to be, is that her Achilles heel?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe she can do chicken, but she can't do cake.
Yeah. I don't know. And there's the big question of the cubes versus the pallets in this episode, that Amy says that they get the pallets, that they're better. Lou wants to get the cubes, but they're more because they're less expensive. Mm-hmm. So again, this sort of battle between Lou and Amy, and then you have Carl coming in, the bad man of business, and I did like the interactions between Mallory and Carl. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I'll give you $1 to go get my phone charger. Like, what does she think she's 2? Like, she's not a 6-year-old. She's like 14. Like,
yeah. For bad man of business, you're pretty lame with your $1.
Yeah, stingy. Yeah.
And she finds engagement ring, and even as it's Tiffany's. I mean, he spare no expense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
and of course Mallory loses it.
And I always am just amazed at these people that want to marry these people, and you're just like, you really want to be married to somebody? I mean, it's kind of thing when I'm watching Beauty and the Beast with Gaston, I'm like, you really want to be with this person who hates your guts? Like, why on earth would you want to marry? What?
They've barely had the conversation since he got there, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm proposing." I'm like, "What's happening?"
Yeah,
And the thing is, it feels like he just was proposing for his own gain,
Yeah.
not because he wanted to, and that was what like super bugged me. It was super irritating.
because he's going to be moving to Chicago and getting the job, and he's been talking to the people in Chicago, and that he thinks that that they will hire Lou, so he's over there, and so yeah, I mean, it seems like an interesting situation. I mean, of course, we don't know their relationship in New York, so maybe it was really great.
Yeah.
But he certainly is not winning anyone over here in at the ranch.
Nope.
Yeah. And so it's Jack's birthday, that's why he's making the cake. And so Jack, because Carl does ask Jack for Lou's hand, and Jack is just like, well, she's a modern woman, she can decide for herself. And but then Jack, he's like, Scott, you need to come to dinner. You need to come to my birthday. Because he knows. And so that was cute between Jack and Scott, I thought. Yes. I was actually kind of frankly surprised that he asked for her hand. That's
It felt like he probably wasn't planning on that, but maybe when he got there and saw the kind of family set up and the kind of guy that Jack was, maybe kind of decided this is probably going to win me a couple of points. Because at that point he'd just been kind of talking about developing land for oil and things like that, and I'm like, what? This is the wrong audience, pal.
Right. Yeah. You don't go and offer to take their land on your first visit to the ranch. That's a bad move.
I'm back, sorry.
Oh, yay.
We've been having rolling blackouts in California, so woo. Anyways.
Yeah. Were you surprised that Carl asked Jack for Lou's hand?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Traditional.
Yeah. I was like, that doesn't seem like a Carl, like it didn't seem like something he would have done. Like if they were back in New York, he would have just asked her and like not even cared about her family, is what it kind of felt like. So.
Yeah. And you're right. So he goes and he rides the trick horse, and he says the yeehaw, and gets bucked off into the mud, of course.
And this horse's name is Pirate, is that right?
Yeah.
Pirate, yeah. And
good job, Pirate.
And so then Scott talks to Lou, and they figure out the commands. The giddy up works for, it's a traditional horse. And so then Carl proposes, and the ring is gone, and Mallory drops the cake. It's funny.
Oh, poor Jack. He just wanted a bit of cake.
And so then he accuses Ty of stealing the ring, which how would Ty even know that it was there? It's
unless Ty went through Carl's stuff.
Yeah, I guess. But and then I did love Valerie says that her dad got her mom a mood ring, so it stayed black for the entire engagement.
Oh my goodness.
Made me laugh.
Yeah. As we learn more about Mallory's background, it's just kind of funny. So her parents are a little wild.
Yeah. I also thought it was kind of ridiculous when Carl says that it's a family firm. They expect me to have a family. Like, come on. What law firm requires people to be cares what the personal life of their attorneys is. And in fact, most of them would probably prefer him to not be
To
married.
not have a family.
You can be more dedicated to the firm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
okay, but the thing is though too, if they were all married, like say this whole firm, every single guy and lady in this firm, they're all married and everything, wouldn't the wives just have a grand old time trying to set him up with someone all the time?
Right. Yeah.
Like, come on.
And so it kind of end with Amy doing the tricks on the horse, standing up on the horse.
Mhm.
And so that it ends with Lou saying no. She says, I can't get this darn thing off my finger. And he leaves.
Mhm.
So way to go, Lou. They definitely making the right choice there.
This is we should have a Lou engagement count, how many times she gets proposed to.
Ooh. Yeah.
This is one.
But
yeah.
Scott is so cute and charming. So, yeah. So, all right. Our last episode is Come What May. And this they're setting up the jumping course. And I was a little bit confused. Ty gets the course from his aunt?
Or Ben does it.
Ben.
Gets it
Oh,
from
Ben.
Lisa, who runs the other horse place.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben. And Ben he doesn't even want to talk about his aunt. He hates his aunt. What is going on there?
It's like I guess Ben assumes that Lisa's just paying him off type of thing because Lisa travels a lot to France and everything. I don't know. It's kind of weird because like his parents aren't really around, so she's like the only adult figure in his life, yet she keeps like going away to Europe and stuff. So it's kind of like he assumes like, oh, she just wants to pay me off. She doesn't want to be around me or whatever, when that's not the case.
Uh-huh. And she thinks he will enjoy doing the course. So he gets some and is she trying to buy him off or is she just doing what she's doing?
I think it's more like she wants to help him out, like make him happy type of thing. I don't think she's trying to buy him off necessarily.
Yeah.
Because the whole
also,
thing later on.
Yeah.
When she was
really
like,
know how to kind of parent, and maybe she thinks, and she's also, like you say, she travels a lot. She's maybe not wanting to give up her life, and doesn't know how to kind of balance her previous life to her new life, where she's caring for a 17-year-old who seems pretty independent, but maybe he just needs to kind of say that he wants her to actually be around more. Maybe that would solve things. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they get a pregnant mare on the ranch, and this is from a friend of a friend kind of a situation.
Yeah, Jack goes off and he meets a guy once at one of the rodeos, or like a couple times, and then suddenly I'm caring for your pregnant mare.
Yeah. And Lou does not like this at all. Not that I can blame her.
I don't want a pregnant mare in the barn.
And it's bleeding, the mare. So they call Scott, and there's some kind of problem with the mare, and
well, because when she gets loose, she gets hurt on that jump, trying to clear a jump, and that's why she starts bleeding. So,
oh, okay. And then Amy and Ty like switch off watching this horse. It's called Melody, yeah. So that was some nice bonding between Amy and Ty.
Yeah.
Hopefully getting over all of their issues.
Yeah. Kind of seem to kind of be more, warm towards each other. It's not just kind of antagonistic.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of glad that's over. Well, for now.
Yeah, it's not over forever, but
not for episode 7.
What do you think of Mrs. Bell, the midwife, whatever? I don't know what you call it, midwife for horses.
So she's kind of like
and stuff.
she's not like a midwife for horses. She just kind of did, like, the way it's like I understand it, she did what Amy's mom did back in, like, she was like pre Amy's mom type of thing. She rehabilitated horses in a way with using different herbs and stuff like that.
We see her again, don't we, Amy? We do see her kind of
Oh yeah,
throughout.
we see her quite a bit over the next couple seasons, if I remember correctly. Yeah. I think up until the character passed away, I think we saw her. So yeah. She's around. Mrs. Bell, deaf with Sugarfoot. You know.
Yeah, I mean, because Mallory's worried about Mrs. Bell is hearing, that she's not very very good. But yeah, they introduced her. She was pretty kooky character, I thought. And yeah, more of Soraya and flirting with Ben, and more Ben, and she overhears Amy saying that, there's, that he's not interested, that she overhears Amy talking about her and Ben, and she gets really offended.
Yeah, because Amy didn't tell her that, which I don't know how Soraya didn't see it. Ben was more like enthused by the attention, not exactly enthused by Soraya. So, which is unfortunate. And then,
Yeah, and so there's this whole thing, this whole roundup. And did you get kind of what is it they're rounding up the cows?
The cattle,
so if I understand it correctly, certain times of the year they have to move the cows based on the weather and stuff. So like you have these large plots of land and then you move the cows. So I'm assuming all these cows are for eating purposes, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And so they need to be moved, and they do roundups quite a bit throughout the different seasons and stuff. I'm not sure like when the time periods are that they need to move the cows, but they do it like twice a year, I think. And they have to move them from one place to another across their land, I think, to sell the beef. I don't know.
Yeah,
kind of
a little bit. I guess it's like City Slickers or something like that, when they're rounding up the cows. But yeah, it was a little, I couldn't tell if this is something that they do normally, or if this is an unusual thing, or what was going on a little bit about this whole thing of this episode.
It seemed kind of like a voluntary thing where they were all just kind of like, they'll kind of help each other doing different roundups and things like that.
Yeah, because they have the trail boss, who is the paid guy, which was AB and Lou's dad, because he works for Big River Ranch, which these cows are owned by Big River Ranch, which is the ranch down the road from Heartland.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering why Tim was there.
Yeah, because he works for Big River to be kind of close to the girls.
And he is the boss of this roundup. And we also have Mallory teaching Ty how to ride. And one of the things I appreciated about this is that I've only ridden a horse a couple of times, and you're so sore after riding the horse when you first started. And you saw that with Ty, which I appreciated.
It's funny
that they showed that, and it was pretty funny. I think I like Mallory. I think she's a fun character.
Yeah, she's great.
And so Ty goes with Jack to the roundup, and Amy gives him Jack's hat, and he's felt like, that's my $50 hat.
that hat.
Yeah, which was funny, I thought. And he's like, what are you doing with my hat? And Jack is very, very bitter about Tim. And he's trying to be, you would think that he would at least play nice a little bit, given that he's trying to be a good example to these two girls. But he won't even eat something that the man has cooked.
Yeah, he's taken like stubborn to a whole new level.
Yeah. You also have Ben and Soraya going to the show, but then her mom won't allow it, and so there's that kind of conflict going on.
Yeah, whose mom would be like, "Oh yeah, you're going away for a weekend at 15 with a 17-year-old boy? Yeah, go have fun."
Yeah, right.
No, like her mom was not going to be cool with it. I'm surprised her mom was cool with it when Amy was going with them.
Yeah,
That's
when Amy was there.
two 15-year-old girls away for a weekend with a 17-year-old boy. Like I don't think many moms would be okay with that.
Yeah. So she's upset because she's been canceled, and also because, like I said, she overhears Lou and Amy talking about Ben liking her and the whole crush thing, and so she's upset, and I liked that Ty. I like that he was trying to get the cows by yelling, "Hey, cows!" That made me laugh. Like, it's probably not the most effective.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting bucked off the horse. He's trying to kind of do his own thing, but all these people should just listen to the person who is in charge and knows how to do things. Why are you like, if I was at a ranch, I would listen to anything that they had to say because I know nothing. And I don't want to die.
Yeah.
These are giant animals.
Maybe we should do an injury count, because I mean, Amy's hit her head like 2 or 3 times now. We're only on episode 7.
That's true.
This is Ty's first injury. So, but all of the characters at some point have. Maybe we should count injury.
He was like crazy. He was trying to go down like such a steep incline to get to a calf, and I'm like, no wonder the bloody horse doesn't want to go down there. Like, are you insane? He was like, if that horse goes down there, you're going head first. Like, there's no other way around it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, so Jack and Ty end up having to camp out where they're at because of the horse and because of everything that's going on. And man, like I said, he is extremely stubborn because Tim finds them and has like sandwiches, and he refuses to eat one of the sandwiches. Maybe
after his stomach has been grumbling for like hours.
Yeah. Like the man isn't poisoning the food. Like, what? Come on.
He takes like, you hurt my family to a whole new level, like of stubbornness. So
he is very, very stubborn, and you think that again he would want to just at least play a little nice to be a good example of to the girls, but no.
I mean, but the girls aren't around. That's the thing.
That's true here. But and what exactly did Tim do aside from separating from their mom? Like, is it just that, and that's enough for Jack?
And I think also, like, because when he walked out, Lou was 15 and Amy was 5. I don't think there was any contact with the girls at all. So I think that might be why he's pretty frustrated, because Tim, all of a sudden, it's been like 10 years, and now he's trying to come back into their life.
But they had that letter.
Been around.
I mean, so he tried to write them a letter.
Well, that was the mom's decision to keep that from them, though, wasn't it? It was,
and that was like 7 years previous. So like he hadn't tried in all that time either to contact them again. So
yeah, and Tim says that's. He said, well, Jack says, I don't want any help from you. I don't want anything. And Tim says, that's what happens when an older man tries to do a younger man's job. So, yeah, that's
saw Jack kind of struggling as well with arthritis as well, didn't we?
Yeah. And so Lou and Amy, they end up having to deliver the foal. And I thought that was so funny with Lou with having to put the protection things on, and I mean, she's just like, oh, this is so disgusting.
Yeah, the most relatable Lou's been so far.
Yeah. And so I don't know. It always amazes me whenever that the baby horses are able to walk like right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's just because I feel like all other animals, they have to learn to walk, but horses, it's just like there they are. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, and then Ben gets third place in the contest, and so then Lisa comes to visit, and her and Ben make up. So that's good. And then also Jack tells Ty, says you can keep the hat, you earned it. That was good. So it was a pretty busy episode. This was a pretty fun one, I thought.
Yeah.
With a lot going on. And so there we go. That's our 3 episodes. Quite a bit of growth, character growth in these 3 episodes. Do you have a favorite of the 3? What do you think, Amy?
I think the second one is my favorite one because it's Lou's first proposal, and also because that storyline gets repeated later on in the series in like season 8.
Ooh.
That the storyline of that episode kind of gets repeated, and I forgot that, like I didn't realize that they kind of did that storyline again but with different characters in season 8. And so when I rewatched this, I was like, oh, that's really funny that they kind of did something similar later on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You wonder if Lou is paying rent this whole time in New York.
Oh, I hope not. Oh, geez.
I mean, she had to have an apartment. Where was she living?
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then she loses her job.
Yeah, and that's not cheap. And is she gonna move? Like, what about her stuff? I mean, she was living there for multiple years.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're just gonna.
I don't know. Maybe she had a furnished apartment and like all she had was her clothes or something. I don't know.
Maybe. What about you, Michelle? Which one was your favorite?
I think the first one was my favorite. Episode 5. I can't remember if it was episode 5 though. It's like a conversation between Jack and Amy in the car. I think it was the 5th episode. But that was like my favourite scene.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I love grandfather scenes.
Yeah.
Like I just feel really connected to them. Like one of my favourite shows was Parenthood. Like anytime like Craig T. Nelson had like a scene with his granddaughters, it would just absolutely melt me. And I feel the same way about Jack and Amy. So yeah, really comical episode, but that scene was probably my favourite scene in the ep.
Yeah, that was a good scene. That was also my favorite, just because everything in the video I thought was really funny and enjoyable. So, well, very good. Let us know if you're listening what your favorite of these 3 episodes is. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And Amy, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at It's Amy Craig.
Great. And Michelle, where can people find you?
Michelle Benson. I'm Michelle R. Benson on Twitter.
Great. And we'll have all that in the description section. And make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media on iTunes, YouTube. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please check that out. If you are listening to the podcast on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate. We got 3 new reviews this last week, and it really helps us out a lot. So please take the time to do that. And then if you are listening on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much as well. And we've got lots of fun stuff coming up on the Hallmarkies podcast, and we'll continue to cover Heartland. So if you have any suggestions for the show and any ideas, we would love it. And thanks so much.
In the description, there's going to be a link to a survey if you want to write to us a little bit about what you think of the show, how we're covering stuff. There's quite a few questions, so we'll put that link down below. You can go ahead and take that survey about the podcast.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, and thanks again, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.